The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Borchard. I am standing in for Mayor Lang today. So she's has a little personal to deal with today. So we're going to go through this and see how that works. I don't get a chance to do this too often, so this should be fun. So, Clerk Nagel, can we get a roll call?
Alderman Boyette.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Alderman Hillstrom is excused. Alderman Lundrum.
Here.
Here.
Pownell.
Here. Here.
Ellis.
Here.
And Borchard.
Here. All right, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance from Alderman Weber, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First item of business is introduction and confirmation of mayor's appointments. Appointment Ben Zemba, Bob Gillespie, Robert Wedge, and Christine Rondu to the Business Improvement District Board for a 3-year term expiring December 2027. And appointing Dave Rouse to the Superior, should we take them individually? Okay, and then we'll also appointment of David Rouse to the Sustainable Neenah Committee for a 2-year term expiring in December in 2026. Are any of them present? Any of the members present today? Okay, all right, then. We approve? All right, there we go. All right, is there any objection to the appointments so read? No objections? Seeing none, by unanimous consent, they are approved. All right. On to the approval of council proceedings. Any objection to unanimous consent for the minutes for proceedings of December 4th, 2024 regular meeting? Any objection to unanimous consent? Seeing none, clearly passes. Moving on to public hearings. So, public hearing, considering special use permit to Alliance Charter, the applicant, and the Neenah Joint School District, the owner, to permit the rental of the Neenah Joint School District additional space to the church for its use for religious services located at 1012 Oak Street, Horseman School. So, what we'll do is, anyone that wishes to speak on this issue can come on up. We'll have 5 minutes to speak. What we'd do like is to have your name and your address to do so. So, anyone wishing to speak on the issue of the public use permit for Alliance Charter.
I'm Jennifer Brining. I reside at 1030 Oak Street. I would like to ask you to please vote no to the special use permit between Alliance Church and the Neenah Joint School District. There is an estimate of 200 adults and 60 to 80 children that will attend each Alliance Church service. They are requesting 2 services. Horace Mann Elementary has 68 parking spaces. The City of Neenah used a calculation that 4 people would arrive per car. Therefore, Alliance Church could have 272 attendants in the building. According to the U.S. Census Bureau data for Neenah, Wisconsin, from 2019 to 2023, there are 2.41 persons per household in Neenah. Using this data, 272 divided by 2.41 is 112.8 cars arriving for 68 parking spaces per service. Even assuming 2 adults per car household and no children driving, this would equal 100 cars arriving for 68 parking spaces per service. As a result, between 32 and 45 cars will need to find street parking. This number will be compounded by the half-hour change time between services. Potentially, there could be 200 to 225 cars in the neighborhood between services. Plus, not all of the 68 initial parking spaces will be available as the second service attendants arrive, compounding congestion in the adjacent neighborhoods. Allowing Alliance Church to use the Horseman Elementary would be a major imposition and detriment to the Horseman neighborhood due to a significant increase in street parking and traffic. I also have concerns about the safety and security of Horseman Elementary due to minutes of the Neenah Plan Commission from Tuesday, December 14th, which I quote, "All hallways and entrances, exits must remain open within the building." My interpretation of this statement is that all doors to the building will be unlocked during Sunday mornings, leading to a lack of security for the building and its contents, which could extend into the following Monday morning school day. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any further comments? Certainly, come on up.
Hi, I'm Mike Brining, 1030 Oak Street, so same address. I also would encourage the council to vote no for the special use permit for Alliance. I feel like it would be very disruptive to our neighborhood from the standpoint, like my wife said, of street parking, traffic, and, you know, this is a weekend use. You know, we have school use through the week, but this is yet another day, and this is all through the year. So all summer, you know, all the time on Sundays. I feel like this is a issue where we need to pay, you know, particular attention, because this is probably the highest use rental that the school board has, if not for school use, certainly for independent use, you know, that they rent to. This is, you know, 500 people, you know, coming into our neighborhood, you know, on a day a week. Let's see what else I got here. And then lastly, and this one's not directly your responsibility, but, you know, I believe that the school district has significantly underestimated the impact of converting Horseman on Sundays to a church on its primary mission, which is being a school. You know, some areas of concern that I have include school safety, the security of confidential information within the school, teachers having to re-clean the classrooms on a Monday, separation of church and state issues such as, you know, left items in the school, church advertising, the length of the lease, etc. And I'm not saying that that's within your purview, but the school board didn't even consider this, you know, rental when they went down this path. It was in their schedule of rentals, so it automatically, quote unquote, other than the special use permit, you know, gets kind of approved if anybody asks. So again, I know you guys don't have direct control over that, but it sure seems like, you know, maybe this would be something that could be tabled till the school board has a chance to look at it if they would take it up. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further comments on the public hearing? Any further comments on the public hearing? All right, seeing none, the public hearing will be closed. Moving on to item number 5, Plan Commission meeting December 10th, 2024. Alderman Steiner.
Thank you, Council President Borchert. The Plan Commission met on December 10th. Minutes can be found on the city website. Commission recommends council approve a special use permit for religious use located at 1021 Oak Street, Horace Mann School, subject to the conditions on the special use permit. Review letter, including adding Christmas Eve to the allowable days the use may occur, and I so move.
Is there a second? This motion's been made and seconded. Alderman Ellis.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, a question to the city attorney, if I might, David. Under this type of a situation, is this something that per the state of Wisconsin, we can turn down this request?
This might be better answered by Deputy Schmidt. However, I do know that there are very few lawful reasons any longer under the amended statute for turning down a request. Basically, if it checks all the boxes, my understanding is this proposal did, there's very little that a city can do by way of denying the request. And if you do deny it, you have to have substantial evidence to support that denial.
Thank
So-
you. And then my other point on that, because we'll go through this, we went through this with Shattuck Junior High and a potential development there. And again, we are falling into this world of what the city can do versus what the school district is doing. And a lot of the points that you good folks brought up are great questions for the school districts, but not ones that we can tackle. We can just say yes or no, but for what their use is, who they want to lease that to, that is not our business, that is not our legal purview. And unfortunately, in situations like that, it's totally to the school board's discretion as to whom they want to lease it to. And from that standpoint, I think the council will be going down a slippery slope. If what we've learned today and what we've had from best practice in the past, I would think we would be in trouble if we voted to deny. Thank you.
Alderman Steiner.
My question was along the same vein. I think the city attorney answered probably a good portion of it. Deputy Director Schmidt, I'm just wondering if there's any additional items. You made some commentary during the Planning Commission that I thought was helpful for us understanding, really what our responsibility is in an instance like this.
Yeah, so Attorney Rashid did mention and did clarify pretty well in terms of state law, so it's very difficult to deny a special use permit. This is a law that changed back in 2017, I believe. So without substantial evidence, if there's concerns with traffic, we can't just say we don't want this use here because traffic's going to be bad. You have to show that this use is going to generate traffic that's going to, exceed the capacity of the street that that affronts the school. So when we look at special uses, so basically within the zoning code, there's permitted uses in each district which are allowed by right and special uses. So a special use is just a higher level review. So there's a number of findings of fact that we do look at. The difference between a permitted use and a special use is basically you could add different conditions. So in this case, the use is limited to Sundays, with the exception of Christmas Eve as Plan Commission amended. There's restrictions on what they can do inside the building in terms of trying to segregate the building off. That's primarily due to building code issues. And then basically if there's any modification to this use, so if they want to increase capacity, if they want to increase the number of days of service, that has to come back through Plan Commission and ultimately Common Council for an amendment to the special use permit.
And if I recall correctly, there was actually an adjustment in regards to capacity because at first it was above what was allowed and then a decrease was required.
Yeah, so we did include a condition in here that, so our minimum parking, off-street parking standards is one space for every 4 seats in the main auditorium. So initially they had 294 seats in the main auditorium, which would have necessitated either increasing the off-street parking by 6 stalls or reducing the seating capacity down to 272. So they chose to bring it down to 272. Obviously, if that goes up in the future, they'll have to accommodate that off-street parking on the site.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any further discussions, comments? All right. Seeing none, please indicate your vote on your voting device. Excuse me. Okay. Motion clearly passes 8-0. All right.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Alderman Steiner. Moving on to public forum. At this point, you are allowed to speak on any issue we wish to today. Please come up like we did during the hearing, state your name, and if you'd like to, you have 5 minutes. Any open public forum issues that people want to?
Good evening. I would just like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. For those of you that don't know, I am the Winnebago County Sheriff. I have been for the last 14 years and have been working collaboratively with the Neenah Menasha Fire Department, the Neenah Police Department to share resources, and would continue that practice as Winnebago County Executive as I announced my intention to seek that office. I believe in sharing of services. I believe that the future of law enforcement, the future of fire departments is one of even sharing more resources. And it's not just about equipment, it's about people. There aren't enough people to hire, and it soon will be not, it won't matter what the patch on your shoulder says, it will be who is closest to the call and responding to those services. And I think that's not in so much distant future for us. But again, I look forward to continuing to serve Winnebago County residents, which obviously includes the city of Neenah, and look forward to that. Thank you.
Any further forum issues? Anyone wish to speak at this point? Last call for forum issues. Seeing none, on to Mayor Council consideration of public forum issues. Any issues or comments about those from the council? Seeing none, moving on to the consent agenda. Temporary Class B, retail license application to Bergstrom Mahler Museum of Glass and Art, 165 North Park Avenue, Neenah, Wisconsin, for After Dark, to be held on Thursday, December 19th, 2024, from 5:30 to 8:30. And the change agent, special application, the Quick Trip, 434 903 Green Bay Road, Neenah, Wisconsin, appointing, Aaron Bowen as the new agent. All right, consent agenda. Is that, sorry, motion?
No,
Right.
I have a
Question?
request to speak.
Sure, go ahead.
I noticed online on WBAY on cancellations that the event tomorrow night is canceled at the Bergstrom Mahler Museum due to weather. So I don't know if we need to approve that.
We can procedurally.
Yeah, we can go ahead and approve it, and if they cancel it, that's up to them.
They did.
Okay. I would still just approve it. That way, if they decide they're going to hold it again, they have
Okay.
the license.
Okay.
All right, any? We need a motion for consent agenda? Okay. Unanimous. Is any objection to unanimous consent on the consent agenda? Seeing none, passes. All right. Reports from standing committees, the regular Public Safety and Committee meeting of December 10th, 2024. Chairman Lundrum.
Thank you, Council President. Reporting out from the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of December 10th, 2024. Minutes can be found on the city website. Item number 1, committee recommends council approve policy 2024-01, storm sewer fee policy for annexing properties, and I would so move.
There's been a motion and a second. All right, any comments or questions with regard to that? Okay, seeing none, indicate your vote on your voting device. All right, clearly passes 8-0.
Item number 2, committee recommends council approve the purchase of a 2025 Chevrolet Trax 1 LS from Bergstrom Chevrolet Neenah in the amount of $20,698, and I would so move.
There's been a motion. Is the second?
Second.
Any comments or questions with regard to this? There we go. Alderman Boyette.
Thank you. I'm just curious what this vehicle is going to be used for.
It's a replacement of our inspection vehicle. One of our inspector vehicles would most likely be the assessor's division. It'll utilize the car.
Thank you.
Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, indicate your vote on your voting device. Motion passes.
Item number 3, committee recommends council approve the purchase of a 2024 New Way Cobra refuse truck from Envirotech Equipment, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, in the amount of $244,692 and accessory equipment at the cost not to exceed $2,000, utilizing 2025 capital equipment funds, and I would so move.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second's made. Any comments or questions on item number 3? Alderman Boyette.
Same question.
It's a rear load garbage truck, a yard waste, large item type uses for it, replacing an existing vehicle.
So we are replacing the current one?
Yes, that's
Thank
correct.
you. Okay, thank you.
Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, please indicate your vote. Clearly passes 8-0. Moving on to number 4.
Item number 4, committee recommends council approve the purchase of a 2024 New Way Sidewinder ASL truck from Envirotech Equipment, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, in the amount of $379,887 and accessory equipment at the cost not to exceed $2,000, utilizing 2025 capital equipment funds and savings on the rear load truck, which was Fleet 55, and I would so move.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Yep.
I can't
Alderman
use my
Boyd.
pad.
Yep,
so
no worries. We're
that way go old school.
yeah. Clerk Nagel's working on it.
So I hate to be a broken record, but we used to have all this written down, and it's not anymore. And I know we're slimlining things, but what are we using this for? And what is it if it's a replacement?
This is a replacement automated collection truck.
Thank you.
1 second while we're minor technical.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we're all ready. On item number 4, please indicate your vote. Okay. Clearly passes 8-0.
Item number 5, and the last item, committee recommends council approve preliminary resolution 2024-23, sanitary lateral and water service construction on Caroline Street, Douglas Street, Elm Street, and Hickory Lane, and I would so move.
Motion's been made. And a second by Alderman Weber. And Alderman Boyette.
Thank you. So, Dr. Kaiser, is with this completion, will this cover all of Caroline Street now? Because I know we've been kind of doing it in sections. So will this be the rest of it, or is there more to do?
I don't believe this is all of it. This section is from Lake Street to the slough. We
Correct.
did areas west of there probably 8 years ago.
Yep.
And we did a section east of there, but I don't think we've done all of it east of the slough in the last 15 years or so.
So there's
I'd have to
more-
look that up.
Okay, so there'll be more to go then.
Only if the ratings are bad for it.
Okay.
Yeah, the pavement doesn't, I don't recall that the pavement is in as bad of condition over in that area east of the slough.
Has all the utilities been replaced then, or do we have an age on the utilities?
I'd have to go back and look. Chances are, if the mains were replaced, the services probably weren't.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thanks.
Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, indicate your vote. Clearly passes.
And that's the end of that report.
Moving on to our special public safety, services and safeties meeting today.
Yes.
Chairman Lindrum.
Yes, thank you, Council President. We had a special Public Services and Safety Committee meeting just before the council meeting tonight, and the minutes will be able to be seen on the city website in a few days. Just one item tonight. We'd like to consider committee recommendation for preliminary resolution 2024-25, installation of asphalt pavement and curb and gutter for properties served on Bruce Street from Castle Oak Drive to the northernmost property line of 2411 Bruce Street and Southview Court. And I would so move.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Paul now. Any comments or questions or concerns? Seeing none, please indicate your vote. Clearly passes.
And that's the end of that report.
Thank you, Chairman Lundrum. Moving on to the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of December 9th, 2024. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you. Reporting out from the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of December 9th. Item number 1, the committee recommends council approve the budget transfer of $55,000 from the city attorney's outside legal services account in the general fund to the liability insurance fund. And I so move.
There's a motion and a second by Alderman Boyette. Comments or questions with regard to this transfer? Seeing none, indicate your vote on your device. All right, clearly passes. Chairman Erickson, once again, the special finance meeting.
Thank you. Reporting out from the Special Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of December 18th, 2024. That was held today prior to the council meeting. Item number 1, consider committee recommendation to approve the purchase of equipment and services to implement a citywide multi-factor authentication solution at a cost not to exceed $27,042 for the state and local cybersecurity grant program award. And I so move.
Motion's been made and a second by Alderman Steiner. Any comments, questions with regard to this? Seeing none, indicate your vote. Clearly passes 8-0.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Moving on to the Neenah Menasha Fire Joint Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of December 8th, 2024. Chairman Boyette.
Thank you, almost mayor. Mayor in word tonight, not. Minutes can be found on the city website. Committee recommends that both City of Neenah and City of Menasha Common Councils approve filling the 3 firefighter positions no earlier than March 10th of 2025, and I so move.
There's been a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions about this? Seeing none, indicate your vote on your device. Clearly passes.
The second item is committee recommends both the City of Neenah and the City of Menasha Councils approve the replacement of the Assistant Chief of Training no earlier than March 17th, 2025, as long as the overlap fits within the budget, and I would so move.
It's been a motion, and can I get a second? Oh, hold on. 1 second. We're moving along too fast. There we go. Motion by Kathy and second by Bill.
Second.
Gotcha. All right. Now we can, there's been a motion and a second. We'll move to vote. Yeah, yep. Sorry, there was no,
Oh, I hit it.
there we go.
Sorry.
Motion passes 8-0.
And the last item is the committee recommends both the City of Neenah and the City of Menasha Common Councils approve the purchase of ballistic gear within the City of Neenah using $35,560 from ARPA funds, and the City of Menasha using $19,440 from ARPA as interest. And I would so move.
Motion's been made and a second by Alderman Paulman. Thank you. Any questions or comments with regard to this motion?
If I may, I'd like to give this opportunity to Chief to explain a little bit about the equipment.
Thanks for the opportunity to explain. We, with our partners in law enforcement and EMS agencies, we're part of what's called a Rescue Task Force, RTF team. We now carry ballistic equipment on our vehicles, bulletproof vests, bulletproof helmets. The first sets we kind of got on loan, hand-me-down from local police departments. These items do have life expectancies, and they're at their end of their use, so we have to start replacing them. And with this money here, we can start replacing sets that are currently on our regs.
Awesome. Any questions for Chief? Thanks very much. Any further questions in general? If not, please indicate your vote on your voting device. All right, and clearly passes 8-0.
And that concludes my report.
Moving on to item 10, reports from special committees and liaisons, various special project committees. Regular Plan Commission was taken care of by Representative Steinert. Minutes going to also be met on the city's website. Moving to item B, the Board of Public Works meeting December 12th. Alderman Lundrum has offered to step in and read for Alderman Hillstrom. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Board of Public Works meeting of December 12th, 2024. Minutes can be found on the city website. There's one item tonight. The board recommends council approve an agreement with Directional Drilling Services, Inc. to perform fiber optics work to connect Oak Hill Cemetery, Washington Park, and the traffic cabinet at the Winneconne Harrison to the city's network at a cost not to exceed $65,000. Funding to come from the ARPA funds that were previously earmarked for fiber at Arrowhead Park in the amount of $50,000, and Information Systems Capital Equipment Project for Smart Cities for the remaining balance. And I would so move.
Motion's been made. Second's been made. Any questions or comments with regard to this? Alderman Paul.
Thank you, President Borkert. Director Schrader, could you come up and could you explain, I guess, what is being gained? I mean, how many more people are being reached now with this? I guess I would imagine that's to allow Wi-Fi services, or is that incorrect? Or is there other purposes?
So what we're looking at doing with the fiber here, we currently contract for Spectrum Internet service at Washington Park and the cemetery both. So this fiber would be replacing the internet connection at those two facilities. We'd be able to eliminate those operating costs in addition to gaining better increased bandwidth and allowing us to put more equipment at those locations if we need to in the future. We're not necessarily expanding services at this point in time, but it would position us well for the future. And then the traffic cabinet would continue our goal of hooking up all of our traffic cabinets with fiber so that those can be controlled remotely from here.
Okay. What is the approximate savings? Do you know from overseas? It's probably not.
I believe the savings were. Written down somewhere. Here we go. We are looking at saving approximately $3,360 per year. And that is just on the internet service. We do currently, since we have service for specific things at the two locations currently, we also carry firewall devices that allow us to connect those locations to our main network here. Those devices are approximately $1,700 a piece. They're currently almost end of life, so we'd be looking at replacing those shortly as well. So my rough estimate was about $20,000 in savings every 5 years.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Any further discussions? All right, seeing none, indicate your vote. All right, clearly passes 8-0.
And that's the end of that report.
Thank you, Alderman Lundrum. Moving on to Landmarks Commission. Alderman Weber.
Thank you, Council President. The Landmarks Commission met last Wednesday, December 11th. Minutes can be found on the city website. Two items to bring to the council for information. We did have a session with Sean Keepers from Keepers Design to talk about using his services to help redesign the brochure for the Landmarks Commission. So we will be moving forward with that, using funds from the operating budget from this year, 2024. And the second item of discussion was around information that Carol Casimir had gathered from the Wisconsin Historical Society around grants for certified local government type of investigations and applications. I just want to take a little bit of time to thank Carol for doing the diligence on that and talking to folks within the city hall to understand what did we have to do to move forward with those grants applications. So a lot of work to be done there, and we talked about putting that on our agenda for the beginning of 2025 so we can make sure we're prepared when those grants come up in later on in the year. So that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report, Alderman Weber. Moving on to Sustainability Committee, or Sustainable Neenah Committee, Alderman Lindrum.
No report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your no report. Moving on to Library Board, Alderman Erickson.
Thank you. Reporting out from the Neenah Library Board of Trustees meeting from today at 4 p.m. There are some items I would like to note. The first thing is the total circulation at the library is up 6% from last year. The programming and attendance is up 25% since last year, and the meeting room usage is up 42% from last year. And meeting rooms can be reserved online, so if you're interested in reserving a meeting room, you don't need to call the library. You can do that online now, and it's a great service, so check that out. We also had a really informative presentation on both Hoopla and Libby. So if you are interested in getting books online, audiobooks, movies, etc., Hoopla and Libby are two services that are available through the library. If you're interested in finding out, one of the librarians at the library can help you, walk you through that. You can download the Hoopla app or the Libby app, and it's really, really a wonderful thing to have if you are interested in going on a trip and wanting to have an audiobook. So please check that out if you are interested. And as always, please visit the library and check out some books. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Erickson. Moving on, the Bergstrom Mahler Museum. And Alderman Erickson, thank you for the heads up that Art After Dark is canceled on Friday, I think to weather and a couple other incidents. Thursday. So, yes, sorry. So just from the indication, I think there were some other issues that were happening there as well. So otherwise, that's the report for that. Moving on to any presentation of petitions. Moving on to council directives. Alderman Paulnow. Let's see here. There was a motion by Alderman Paulnow, seconded by Boyette, to have the notice letters sent to constituents that are impacted by street and sidewalk assessments as soon as the budget and CIP are delivered to council. The letters are to include the street condition, overall reasoning, and for the improvement, and alderman contact information. And there was a motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Paulnow.
Thank you, President Borkert. Yeah, I put on everybody's desk after me and Director Kaiser got together. I put it on the desk this evening of a draft letter that basically a lot of what's currently going out, the verbiage is in there, but it also includes each street that will, and this is an example of 2025, each street, and then also the Aldermanic District. So a little bit of education doesn't hurt for people to know exactly what Aldermanic District they are. And then it also has, when you move down, I was unaware that we have a very nice resource on the city website in upgrading or updating people and in regard, or keeping informed in regard to the projects. So there's a link listed there, and then the Public Works number, and then also the Aldermanic contact information. Also, Director Kaiser had a great idea, and he was going to have Lisa revise this to have the page that has the district maps along with the contact info, just to let people know. So this is my thinking that if this goes out at CAP in budget time, I think in real time when those books come out, I just think there's a lot of positive, and there's a lot of good things that go on in this city, and people, they always, when they come, nobody ever tells us. You hear that a lot as an alderman. And I think that project website, which I wasn't even aware of, is really powerful and helpful and allows people to connect, I think, on what's going on in their street, on their own timeline, and then also educate them on who their alderman is and you know, which district they're in. I think there's a lot of power and benefit for that. So.
Thank you, Alderman Paul now. Alderman Ellis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I applaud the effort of the writing. In my opinion, and we've kind of gone down this dance before, is there's a lot more to this than just this letter. There are other avenues for communication. There is the website. I think this is, I like the idea of this, but I think there needs to be a deeper conversation. There are other department heads that I would like to see their opinion on. I think we need to dig into deeper to see if there's anything that we're missing. Preferably, I would like to see a department head more or less write the letter and make sure the city attorney says, yep, everything we said in there is right and factual and true. But I think that the intent of this is absolutely the right path. I just think that we need to get a little bit deeper in this process. Several of us from the council have not had a conversation with Public Works. We have not had a conversation with Finance. They may have information that they would like to share with us. So I think from going back to my old days, things like this were basically referred to a committee where they could really massage these things out, flush them through, and then cohesively, in conjunction with the appropriate department heads, and with the mayor, come before the council and say, here's what we're looking at, here's what it looks like, and everybody has signed off on it. So from that standpoint, I would like to see this continued, but at this time, I would make a motion that we table this so we can flush this out in further detail, so when we come back, we've got something that's deeper. But I do want to commend both the council members who have brought this before us, because I think the intent is 100% correct. I just think that we need to do a little more thinking on this first.
Okay, there's been a motion on the table to table this item. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's been a second. Motion and a second. We'll now discuss on the idea of tabling the motion. But before we run into that, Director Kaiser, could you just shed some light on this document? And is it different than what we're doing, and what is this? Can you just explain the process we have right now?
Sure. Yeah, after the last council meeting, I provided Alderman Paul now with kind of the layout of our current notification process and the letter that we send out. We've been sending a notification out since 2016. It's been sent out after the budget approval to all of the property owners abutting our street and utility projects. So the letter that Alderman Paulnow provided really incorporates everything we have in the current letter with the exception of the aldermanic information. So that's, as he and I talked the other day, the aldermanic map is a relatively easy add to include to with this program. I guess so the communication piece doesn't concern me much. The timing of the communication going out is the part that kind of concerns me. We send this is essentially our kickoff to letting folks know that construction's coming and these are things that are going to be happening. Doing it prior to budget approval by the council leads us open to changes happening during those council deliberations on the budget, and notifying people that things are happening when they won't, and not notifying other people if projects get added in. So the potential for confusion just concerns me a little bit on that. Some of these projects can be complicated enough without adding more confusion to the residents that way. So yeah, this is something we've done for quite some time. Tweaked it, modified it as we've gone along and as we've gotten questions. So that's basically the background.
Cool. Thank you, Director Kaiser. Alderman Boyette.
Isn't this tabled? I mean, we really can't have a
The
conversation. if
vote
it-
on the table, the discussion on the tabling.
We haven't voted on that.
We haven't voted on that yet.
Is it safe to talk?
Motion and a second to table, and there has to be discussion on whether or not we table it. And I wanted to make sure there was some clarification. Kathy's indicated that it was, she pressed her button to speak during the original motion. Okay? So did you want to speak on this, the idea of tabling it?
I want to speak on the item itself.
Okay. Then that has to wait. So the discussion right now is focused on whether or not we should go back into the original motion whatsoever.
Okay, well then I want to speak.
Okay, I'll give you that opportunity to do so.
Okay, so from listening to what Director Kaiser just said, apparently we already do this letter. Do we do it at budget time and CIP time? Or do we only do it within, when we send out the letter of the 200-foot, this is going to affect you, that letter?
Yeah, it's not a 200-foot buffer kind of letter. It's a letter that goes out after budget adoption in November.
Okay.
Once the final project list has been approved by the council, then we send a letter out to the affected residents.
So we're already doing this,
Yes,
and we've already been doing it.
yes.
So if we table it, then we won't do it anymore?
No, I would intend to continue doing it. We can,
No,
like
that
I
would be
said,
the
the
directive.
communication
We're
piece, we can tweak.
Tabling the motion by Alderman Paul now.
Which is to do what we're already doing.
The revisions to this is not the exact form that's being sent out right now. We are sending notification out, but some of these additions that Alderman Paul now wanted is what's on the table.
Okay.
Tabled.
Okay,
Does that make
because
sense?
I really like these additions. I don't know so much if we need the map, but the map, I guess it's information, more information for the public is good. I know a lot of people don't know what an alderman does or who an alderman is, or let alone the district that they live in. So I like the fact that, you know, the aldermen are named on here and their contact information is on here, so they've got a list of choices of go-to people. I'm not sure if this is the place where everybody signs off, like Alderman Ellis had potentially wanted to add to it, like water and sewer and whatever else would need to be included. And those department heads, maybe those are the ones that get added into the buffer letter when their work is going to be done type thing. So I would not be in favor of delaying this. I think these are good, and thank you.
Okay. Alderman Paul now.
Thank you, President Borkert. I was surprised on the table motion. I'll speak to that. I guess as Alderman Ellis had a lot of good points, I thought he was going to make a motion to route this to committee, which I'd be fully in favor of. And if this gets tabled, I guess I'll just talk to Chairman Leonard and put it on the agenda, because I'm on the public service and safety, because there's other weigh-ins and such. I just never been part of a council directive action where it's been tabled and no discussion of when to bring it up. So I guess with that being said, if this was a motion to move it to the committee, I'd definitely support it, but I won't support a motion to table it because that doesn't really give me a voice to discuss this. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Weber?
Yeah, I'm in favor of the additional information. I think more communication, the better. But I do agree with Alderman Ellis and his points, and also Director Kaiser. Those were the first questions that came to my mind, were the timing, some of the verbiage in there. We're setting a precedent and putting ideas in folks' minds. So I am in favor of supporting it to go to the appropriate committee for further flushing out and then bring it back to council. Not saying it should be, pushed to the side, but it should go forward through the proper committee. So that I would be in favor of that.
Thank you. Alderman Steiner?
Yeah, I'm certainly in favor of providing additional information and perspective and, obviously continued transparency to citizens. I'm focusing my comments on the table that's here because that's the item, but I have a lot of additional questions. So I think I'm in favor of tabling it. Maybe it should have been sent to committee. I don't know. But I think additional conversation will end with a better result in getting further perspective in terms of the department heads across the city. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion on whether we table or not? Okay. Please indicate yes if you wish to table this, and no if you do not wish to table this, and then proceed back to the council directive.
I'm so confused.
So if you vote no, not to table this, then we're back to the original motion. If it votes yes, then this is going to be tabled into a further meeting, a future meeting. All right. And the motion passes to table it for now, and the other motion dies for now. All right. Any unfinished business? Seeing, nope. Kathy, excuse me, Alderman Boyette.
I can't request to talk.
Yep, that's right. That's
So
fine.
on that last motion then, do we know, how does that happen? I don't want it to sit tabled.
It still
so-
remains a council directive.
So how do we get it into a committee? Do we need to make a motion now to do that?
May I?
Yes,
The
somebody.
matter stays tabled until somebody makes a motion to take it from the table. And then once that happens, then you can vote on whether or not this council directive should go forward. So that's what was teed up originally tonight. So it would be up to somebody to make a motion to take it from the table. And then if that motion passes, then you could take up Alderman Paulno's original directive, and that would be put to a vote. So, and in the meantime, people can talk to Director Kaiser and try to figure out this part of his job.
Okay, but I'm confused on that because I don't want it to sit on a table. I want it to go to a committee. So how do I make that happen? Do I have to make a motion to take it off the table and then have that made to go to, and then a vote to go to a committee?
Anybody that's sitting on the committee, that committee of jurisdiction, which I think is Public Services and Safety,
Yep.
could request the chair of that committee to put this item on their agenda.
And would they do that now or, like, I don't know how.
However you normally do that, if you want something to be on the committee agenda, you can request that of the chair.
Okay, so if someone on Public Service and Safety wants to make that motion, they would need to do it now. I'm not on that committee, so I can't do that.
No, it's
There's
not a
no
motion.
motion that's needed. All we need to do is confirm with Alderman Lendrum that she would put it on the Public Services and Safety Committee agenda.
And they would need to do that now then?
Nothing needs to be done now.
Okay.
It's tabled, so really, we shouldn't be having discussion on it because it's tabled.
I'm just asking for clarification because it was
Yeah.
very confusing.
Yep.
Thank you.
Look, my understanding, and I'm hearing, I'll do the summation of comments. I think they want, at least I feel, I'll speak for myself, but I'm hearing as well that we want Director Kaiser to make sure that this, and what kind of impact this will have, and what type of, I guess, is this additional step that's already being done, or if this step is going to be done, what additional time and energy does it take? I'd like to hear it from his office, more of a understanding of what the impact this will have on your office. And then we can make more of a informed decision based on that. That's where I'm coming from, and that's why I'd rather have some more time on that. That's why I offered to table it, or I voted to table it.
Jerry, you can chime in, or department head, but I'm going, part of the purpose of the council directive was to avoid staff being assigned with duties without concurrence of the council. So you're kind of tabling this now and saying, but we want you to do this work. So that causes me some confusion. Would you agree with that, Jerry? And I don't, David, you could correct me, and I think where this could have been avoided would have been to just refer, as opposed to a council, a directive going right to committee.
Right.
I believe if the item were taken off the floor, not untabled, if that's a word. And then there could be, and Alderman Paul now could remove his motion for a directive, and then a motion can be made to request that this be put on the agenda, future agenda, whenever Jerry has time, to take up all the points that I think were mentioned, right? And certainly at a meeting there, you could say, look, we want to hear from the water utility, or we want to hear from whoever. So that would be, kind of make me feel a little more comfortable, because I think you're kind of in a, ironically, I'm reading the book Catch-22. You're kind of in a Catch-22.
Alderman Paul now?
I guess then with that being said, can I make a motion to take it off the table with the intention of sending it to the committee after that?
Yes, so you'd need to withdraw your council directive, and as you had stated earlier in this discussion, your intention would be to request of the chair that they just place this item on your committee, and you can discuss it there without a council directive.
Yeah.
That's fine. So do I need to take action to remove the council directive? Or, because right now it's tabled.
To take it from the table, which has to pass by majority vote. Once you do that, then you could withdraw your council directive, if you so chose.
And then ask the chair under new business or unfinished business tonight to put it on the agenda?
You could do that, or you could do it how, I mean, that's not always done at this dais, obviously, but if you wanted to, you certainly could. I mean, items are placed on the committee by email and phone call and
I
other
guess
ways.
last time I was on council, it was always just a common practice, something like this, we just, as a council, we route it to committee for further discussion. So I'm a little baffled by this whole endeavor. So, yeah, I guess I would make a motion to, I'd have to
Take it from the table.
take it from the table.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Okay. Carrie, there's a motion made, but did you have a comment?
I'll comment on the next.
Gotcha. Very good. Okay. Any comments about bringing it back onto the table? Those playing at home, it's normally not this difficult. So, all right. Any questions or concerns about bringing it back onto the table? All right. It'll give us taking a second here to make sure we can vote. Do we want to just do it? Okay. All right. Didn't see it. All right. The motion is brought back, council directive is brought back to the table. All right. Any comments? Alderman Lundrum, go ahead.
Just before the next motion is made, I would make a request that whoever makes the motion, to use the word committee instead of a specific committee, because I'm not quite sure that it shouldn't be directed to, I'm not sure, either Public Services or Safety or Public Works, the Board of Public Works. So I would like to keep that open. So if you just use the word committee, I think that will be covered. And then I'll have a conversation with Director Kaiser as the Chair of Public Services and Safety, and I'm also on Public Works, so I can have a conversation about both of those committees and which one would be the most appropriate one. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion now on this directive? Okay. Alderman Paul now.
Okay, so I'm clear, it's back on the council directive is on the table, so to send it to committee, we can't just route it to a committee or committees or?
All you need to do is, if that's your intention, is to withdraw the directive. It came from you. It's never been voted upon. So you can withdraw that if you choose to, and then you can ask that this matter be placed on the committee. And I do believe that it is the Public Services and Safety Committee. It's not the Board of Public Works. So you could request that be put on that agenda for further discussion.
Okay, can I make a motion, if I take it off the directive, can I make a motion to route it to the committee so the council can weigh in on where they want to send it?
Sure.
Okay, so I need to make a motion to remove the council directive.
Nope, you can just remove it all by yourself.
Abracadabra, it's removed.
Right. I withdraw that is probably the.
Okay, so now that it's removed, I can make a motion to send this discussion item to the Public Service and Safety Committee.
Correct.
Okay, I will make that motion.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any questions? Yep, we'll Well, hang on, so we even just in general, okay? We're gonna have to do this more often, Shar, so we get practice, right?
Sorry, I just needed clarification. That was too much for me. I couldn't do it.
You're not alone.
Who's on first base?
Can I say that?
Oh. There we go.
All right.
Oh, we can vote.
We're all set now. Any comments or questions with regard to sending this to Public Service and Safety Committee? Seeing none. We can vote. All right. It's moving. It's off the table. It's moving to Alderman Lundgren's lap. There we go. All right. Any other new business? I'd just like to say and wish, I'm sure if Mayor Lang was here, she would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We will probably not be in session much until after the new year. If I'm indicating, I don't think we have anything else going on that. So we're hoping everybody has a safe and happy New Year and Christmas and any holiday you celebrate, just to make sure we're inclusive. There we go. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Director Kaiser if he could just give us an update on what's going on in South Commercial. I was driving by last night. The crews were out late at night with the lights on, and they were out tonight as well after I was heading back from the library board meeting, working diligently, but it doesn't look like the sidewalks will be repaired before the snowfall from my vantage point of what I was seeing. And then I also have a question. I teach at Coolidge, and there are several kids that take the route from the Ames area, the Bruce Street area to school. They walk to school. And they said that the sidewalks on South Commercial, you're not supposed to use those sidewalks. So is there a different, what is the plan there?
Sure. All of that work out there is related to the gas main relocation that's been performed by We Energy's contractors. For various reasons, they're about a month behind where they had intended to be. Their plan is to still continue to replace sidewalk along that whole stretch. So they have a subcontractor that's been out there working to patch in the sidewalk to get us through winter time before we start the overall construction out there next year. So I heard from the We Energy's rep, their goal was to be done by the end of the year, but he felt realistically it's probably going to be middle of January before they have that all wrapped up.
So can sidewalk be poured in the winter?
You have to insulate it. Depending on your temperatures, it probably would be discouraged. Now, we don't need this sidewalk to hold up for 30 years. It needs to get us through several months, so they certainly can patch things in well enough in that time.
There's a lot of construction all through that corridor there?
All related to that project.
Okay. All right. And they were truly working into the night last night and then tonight as well. So, all right.
Any further new business or comments? Seeing none. Executive session. The council may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 851G to confer with the city attorney, who will render advice concerning strategies with respect to pending or impending litigation involving the city, specifically regarding possible settlement with the Walmart over multiple years of tax appeals suits. Okay, can I get a motion to move into closed session?
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. We are moving into closed session. So thank you those who joined us tonight.
Please cast your vote on your voting device.
Sorry, we have to vote. Sorry, yes. Yes.
Thank you.
You should just take that vote from now on. Sorry, I forget.
The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.